Hello, and welcome to How to Become a Top Producing Commercial Real Estate Broker. My name is Bob McComb. I've been around the commercial real estate industry for about 37 years now. I spent 17 years as a commercial real estate broker, a brokerage owner in downtown San Francisco, and the last 21 years working with top producing commercial brokers all around the country. And I'm here to tell you that you can become a top producing commercial real estate agent, and it will be worth it. I chose this acronym BECOME because that's really what it's all about. You have to really transform yourself into becoming a top producing commercial real estate broker. And in this course, I'm going to tell you a little bit about why it's important to do all of these things, how some of the best do it, and a couple of things that you can do to get started right away in increasing your production and becoming a better broker. So let's get into today's topic. B stands for be the best. I don't think it's any great rocket science observation to say that the best in the business intend to be the best, and that's why they are the best. But they also have daily habits, rituals, and practices that make them the best. And it does begin with a commitment to be the best. Now, why do you suppose that they chose to become the best commercial broker in their market service area? Well, simply because owners and people who can give you those top-level accounts, well, they can pick the best and skip the rest. It's as simple as that. They choose the best brokers and they get the best accounts. Now, there's a lot of low-hanging fruit for other brokers to pick up, but if you want the best accounts, you really have to commit yourself to being the very best in your market service area. So, what are a couple of things that you could do right away to get yourself to be a better broker? Well, the first thing you want to do is to write down a commitment and a goal to become the best. Put it down in a little journal. Now, each day in that journal, write down your intentions for the day. Create an intention journal, if you will. And then list all the things that you're going to do that day. And that includes your appointments and other things that you have going on. But what is it you're going to do to make yourself better each and every day? Then, at the end of the day, just do a personal performance review. How did you do? You see, if you set some intentions for what you want to accomplish and then review what you've actually done, each day you'll work on getting just a little bit better. And that's how the best become the best. Now, E stands for energy. And I think it's clear to all of us that we've got to have the energy necessary to be able to perform at the highest level. The physical energy, the mental energy, the spiritual energy, if you will. Now, here's an observation I have for you, or question more. Does a power plant have energy? I hope you answered no. See, power plants generate energy, and you've got to use this as your power plant. You've got to have the energy necessary to meet the demands of the business. You know, some years ago, I was coaching a guy out in Tennessee, and he said, you know, Bob, one of the problems I have is around 2:30 in the afternoon. I'm just exhausted. And so I said, Jim, let me ask you a question. Do you hydrate? He says, well, what do you mean? I said, well, do you hydrate? And he goes, well, not really. I don't think so. I said, well, why don't you grab a bottle of water like this each day and have it drunk by noon. Buy a case of them, keep them in your office. And, the next time I had a coaching call with him a couple weeks later, he said the problem was solved. So we all know about exercise and nutrition, but a lot of us forget about hydration. Some of us forget to just spend some time sitting quietly thinking to rejuvenate ourselves. Some people call it meditation, but you don't have to have a guru to sit quietly for 10 or 15 minutes and just re-energize yourself. And what about oxygenation? You see, mind, body, and spirit all work together to have that energy, and we've got to have that. So generate plenty of energy on a daily basis. By the way, that also includes getting lots of good rest. Now, there's two kinds of rest that you can pay attention to. One is obviously sleeping enough. A lot of people don't sleep enough. They have a lot of technology in their bedroom. They're constantly being interrupted. That's a bad plan. But there's another kind of rest where you're fully engaged in something completely different than your everyday business. For me, it was sailboat racing. And on Wednesday nights, I could go do a sailboat race for a couple of hours, and it was so absorbing that I actually felt refreshed from doing it, even though it was physically demanding. So you might look at that kind of rest as well. So again, nutrition, exercise, hydration, oxygenation, deep breathing, meditation, and of course, ample rest. That's what's going to generate the energy necessary for you to be successful. And so if you're committed to being the best and you have the energy, now you can go into the next level, which is control. Now, don't make any mistakes about this here. I'm not talking about controlling transactions. I'm not talking about controlling clients. I'm not talking about controlling any external circumstances. You see, we live in a fantasy that we can control a lot of external circumstances. We can't. When we talk about the C in control, what we're talking about is how you play the game. That's the only thing you can really control. Think about any sports team that you see. Every player that gets on that team, can they control what's going on in the game? No. You can only control how they play the game. And in your career, can you control what your competition is doing, what the company is doing, what the brokers around you are doing, what cooperating brokers are doing, what clients are doing, what the market is doing, right? What the overall economy is doing? No. You can only control how you play the game. And that's why that intention journal and that commitment to being the best is so important, because it dictates how you're going to play the game. And so you have to exercise command and control over yourself, over your energy, your well-being, and your commitment to being the best, and how you play the game. And that's one of the most important lessons in becoming a top producer in anything, is understanding how you play the game day in and day out while you're busy at work in your commercial real estate career. O in the word become stands for optimism. Now, optimism is pretty easy to understand. We know that salespeople who are optimistic outperform all of the rest by a large measure. Now, a positive expectation about how transactions are going to work out is great, because that sets the tone for the transaction for people that you're working with. A positive expectation and optimism about your prospecting and lead generation efforts is also vitally important to you. You've got to start each day with rituals that are uplifting to you. So if you get up in the morning and how you play the game includes exercise, meditation, inspirational literature, whatever works for you to get your spirits up so that you face the day with optimism, you're going to be much better off. And it is one of the keys to becoming a top producing commercial real estate broker. Now, motivation. The M stands for motivation, obviously. And you've got to be internally motivated. When we speak of motivation, really there's two parts to motivation. One is extrinsic motivators, external motivators, such as your company goals that they establish for you, your production goals, other circumstances that motivate you from the outside. But it's those intrinsic motivators that are most important. And this is why writing down your goals, writing down your intention every single day, being totally committed to being the best is paramount to your long-term success. You see, motivation has to come from inside. Now, if you're not doing something you love and it doesn't mean anything to you, you're probably not going to be very motivated. Oh, there may have been a time in the past where you were much more highly motivated. Maybe you've reached a level of what we call broker burnout. If that's true, one of the ways that you can stay motivated is to continue to learn, get back to growing. You see, the two things that fuel our motivation are growth and contribution, because growth and contribution are things that feed us spiritually. And it's important that we feel like we're doing something that's important and is part of something bigger than ourselves. So if you're having trouble with motivation, really be thinking more in terms of growth and contribution for yourself. And I think you'll find that these two areas will be very powerful in getting your juice back, getting that energy back, getting that drive back to be the best, and really stepping on the playing field and playing at your best and being in control of how you play the game. Lastly is the letter E in the word become. Now, those of you who know me from How to Run with the Big Dogs in Commercial Real Estate Brokerage know that we put forth a formula that E times E equals R. That was effort times effectiveness equals results. And I've modified that formula a little bit since then. It's now E cubed equals R. And the first E does stand for effort. And if you're a person who needs to put in a little bit more effort, then really work on those things we talked about earlier. Generating the energy necessary, the commitment to be the best, and then put in a little bit more effort when you write your intentions down for each and every day, what you want to do. If you're putting in a great effort and you really find yourself running out of time to do all the things, and then you have found the limitation of the effort side of the equation. You see, if effort times effectiveness equals results, the part that's finite is the effort side. There's only so many hours in a day, so many weeks in a year, so many days in a week, etc. And you only have so much effort and energy and time. So how can you continuously put an effort if you're putting in maximum effort? You have to go to the effectiveness side of the equation. And that's E squared, right? Effort times effectiveness. So if you look at the effectiveness that you can bring to your business, it's really not very limited, is it? You can find lots of ways to do that. And that's really critical because you see there's three major areas in your business that you have to have mastery over. And that's lead generation, lead conversion, and services delivery. But you only get paid for services delivery, which means that you have to be effective at lead generation, effective at lead conversion. And so the way to do that is to adopt the mantra that I get things done, I don't do everything. You've got to think like doctors. Doctors don't do everything in a doctor's office, do they? They only do the doctoring, and you have to do that too. And so you need to look at those areas and say, how can I be more effective by getting things done for me? And that's really critical. Now, E cubed means excellence, and being totally committed to excellence is critical. In a lot of ways, it's similar to that commitment to being the best. But you see, when you're really excellent at what you do, what happens is that you are continuously on the grow. And the more you grow, the more satisfied you are in your life. So what you want to do here is develop the idea of exceeding people's expectations, exceeding your own expectations about how seriously you take this business in terms of learning, growing, and making this business your real life. So that's how you become a top producing commercial real estate broker. And remember this quote. I love this quote. The road to success is always under construction. Now, what's next for you? What are you going to work on? Which one of these areas do you choose to work on for yourself? Do you need more energy? Do you need a greater commitment, more motivation? Are you becoming a little too pessimistic? Do you need to work on your optimism? Do you need to think about how you're playing the game? Do you need to get more effective in certain areas? You made some decisions for yourself about this. Now, I offer 30-minute career consultations with me personally on the phone. And all you have to do is navigate over to the website and book your time. That's it. 30 minutes, and we'll talk about you and your career. So let's talk. Let's take that 30 minutes. Let's work on your business. It won't be a sales pitch, that I can promise you. I'll help you figure out what you need next to start taking your business to the next level. Now, I do have a favor to ask. I want you to think about this. Who else do you know that needs this program, that needs to watch this short video? Because, you see, the more you give, the more you get, so you'll have more to give. So helping others grow is an important aspect of being a top producer as well. I look forward to talking to you soon. So sign up for that career consultation and let's have a chat.